everyone from the Waterloo Region EVA. Hope you're all enjoying this fine November evening. We thought we'd bring you another edition of WREVA EV News. And joining me as always, we have Mr. Ian Graham joining us. How are you today, sir?
Hanging in, doing pretty good.
Very good. And of course, also Eric Stevens joins us tonight. How are you today, Eric?
I'm doing good, Mark. Very good.
Excellent, excellent. Now, I can't say the weather is good as it was a few days ago, but man, talk about nice having a little bit of summer in November.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, we got a bunch of stories to hit you with this evening. Let's start with Eric. Go ahead, Eric. What do you got first?
My first one here, I'm going to talk about a proposed project by TC Energy about doing a pumped hydro storage project. I'm going to share here. And basically, this is a fairly large project proposal. They're looking to pump water from Georgian Bay into a hydro storage area at a higher elevation there on the Bruce Peninsula. And this is located just north of Meaford, Ontario, actually on a national defense land that's currently controlled by the Ministry of National Defense. It's actually held by the 4th Canadian Army Division. And this project is proposed to be 1,000 megawatts. Wow. And to put that into perspective, that's more power than a nuclear reactor in Ontario puts out. And it's equivalent to Ontario's energy demands from a day-to-day basis, typically averages between 15 to 25 megawatts, depending on the day. So this is, on average, going to be able to put out up to 5% of all of Ontario's power. And this is a giant, and this is storage. So this would be fantastic for, wind and solar opportunities and smoothing out the grid. And this is electrical storage en masse, basically. This is a very large scale project. It is a long-term project though too. It's something that's going to take a while. They're going through feasibility right now, and they're hoping to wrap up at the end of this year. But when the project actually starts and goes into construction, it's supposed to complete by 2028.
So this would be a pump during the time that they have the most electricity, storage in a level that's probably above grade, above where the lake is. And then when they need the electricity, they turn the tap on the opposite way that runs through turbines and creates electricity as it runs into Georgian Bay.
Exactly, yep. That's exactly how it works.
That's
excellent.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I remember seeing on Netflix a while back, there was, I can't remember what the title of it was, something like Islands of Energy, but there was an island off the coast of northern part of Africa, and they did something really similar to this, but with, wind energy to pump the water up and then to release it when they needed it, and worked really efficiently.
Very nice. So we'll watch for that progress. That you can't get much cleaner than that for energy, for sure.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Well, what we'll do next is I've got a story about the Tesla Model 3. So what we've got here is a picture that we will share. You guys seeing that?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So apparently the Model 3 recently, there were new statistics brought out about this car. It's not new, but this refresh is new. There was a refresh on the car, and apparently the battery has become more dense in the Model 3. And since it has more of an ability to have more kilowatt hours in a battery pack, its 78 kilowatt pack has now increased to 82, giving the car obviously more mileage with the same amount of battery cells that are in its pack. But what's great to see here is that the advancement of battery technology is starting to pull back some dividends we've got Panasonic, who is producing the pack for this particular car, I'm sorry, not the pack, but the actual cells. They have increased their density by somewhere in the area of 4 to 6%. And that, of course, helps with the output. So the car can not only travel further, but with its more dense battery, it also has the ability to charge a little faster as well. You can more at the same time. So this is a little bit of an advancement that Tesla has really quietly released into the wild. They didn't even really talk about it except for the mileage uptick. They didn't talk about the ability to fast charge a little bit faster than what has been previous. So good news all around, and great to see that this battery advancement continues as the lithium ions are continued to be worked on and researched, and some of the dividends being shown here today.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're seeing gains like this across the industry from all sorts of battery manufacturers right now. So it's good to see that everybody seems to be keeping up like this.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah, and all those little 5% keep adding up.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's right. Yeah, if you're able to add a 3 to 5% year over year, that adds up to quite a bit after 5 years. So yeah. It's all great news. And of course, you don't necessarily have to. As you're keeping just bump up the mileage, you may elect not to put in as many batteries and reduce the cost of the car is another option for them. Mm-hmm. So depending on how much the car actually needs, the price may come down as well as increase in mileage. So that would be a bonus for all of us.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of Moore's Law with computers.
Yeah,
basically doubling,
Yeah, it won't be quite doubling, but you'll probably see 5 or 10% a year.
Yeah. That'd be really nice if it was to double and quadruple like that. But
yeah, about 5% a year is probably what we're going to see in improvements in density and reductions in cost almost on an annualized basis.
Yeah. When they do the doubling, that's when we'll have the Star Trek warp speed.
Yeah.
All right. That takes us to our next story that Eric has about GM.
Yes. So I'll share this here as well, too. So back in 2019, General Motors announced that in Oshawa, they're going to be building an advanced technology track. During COVID, the construction got paused for this, but it's now resumed, and it's actually in full speed right now. In fact, it's been accelerated. They anticipate actually any time now that this center is actually supposed to be near complete, and they're going to have a sort of a grand opening in the spring for it. But this will be used for testing all sorts of different technologies, including all the way up to autonomous vehicle driving. And this sort of pairs into sort of the recent investments that General Motors has been making in Ontario as well, too, into its Oshawa Canadian Technical Center and its Markham Technical Center as well, too, where they've been hiring literally now almost thousands of software engineers right now, bringing lots of people on board. So this sort of all ties in together with the programs that they have going on here and the big investments they've been making into engineering here in Ontario.
Very
cool.
Good.
Yeah.
So are these this is centered near Oshawa or in Oshawa?
Yeah, this is actually located on the same site as the Oshawa Assembly Plant. It's in a 55-acre spot just south of the Oshawa Assembly Plant.
Okay.
Hmm.
And this construction is it slated to complete at a certain? Are they aiming for 2021?
No, 2020 actually. It's supposed to be finished complete this year.
Okay.
Yeah. So this story is actually from the beginning of October, and that actually even looks like maybe some transformers for some EVs there.
Yeah.
But this was the beginning of October, and they said construction's supposed to mostly be complete within a few weeks, so it should be pretty close by now.
Very cool.
Very good. Yeah, GM and other automakers seem to be investing in Ontario when it does come to software. There's a number of different groups that are working on software. Like, for example, here in Waterloo Region, we have Ford working out of their building near U of W.
Yeah, they have
and that's like a computer center or a programming center for the UI, right?
Yes, yeah. BlackBerry has, Ford has very good close ties with BlackBerry actually, because they use the QNX kernel system for the backbone of their software operations. So it makes sense for them to be here to have that close working relationship.
Very nice. Okay, our next story again comes from Tesla, a little bit closer to home than the last one. What we've got is everyone knows that there is a Tesla service center now out on Victoria Street in Kitchener. And what happened just I guess it was this Wednesday, was that the sales arm of that facility opened up. So now test drives can be scheduled and sales can happen from Tesla Kitchener. And they opened the showroom. It's a soft launch, so there's no fanfare, and it does look a little sparse, but they do have representatives on hand if you want to go in and check out the cars that they have on hand. Inside, they've got a Model Y, a Model S, and a Model X out in the what I call the light box of the center, because they've got this nice glass cube that's I think I've got that in the final photo. There it is, out facing Victoria Street. And at night, they light the whole thing up, so it looks like a brilliantly lit Rubik's cube sitting on the front of the facility facing Victoria Street. And of course, they've got the doors open and the lights on the car too. So at all hours you can see it. It's a shining beacon, definitely, if you're driving along Victoria Street and it's dark out. But I was able to go into the center and speak to them on Wednesday, and they had indicated that no deliveries will happen at this site immediately, but they plan to start doing deliveries near the end of the year or beginning of next. So, a matter of a couple of months to get into that scenario. But it's good to see, and if you want to touch and feel the cars, this is a great place to do it, and it's so close to home. It's a big plus for us in the region.
In the region, and also I did hear that they're expanding as well. London, Ottawa, and Barrie are the next potential showrooms that are coming about.
Yeah, that's correct. And another one is Saskatoon and Halifax.
Oh wow!
So they're trying to hit the other areas of the country, because there was a story about Tesla about 3 weeks ago, that they were talking about home deliveries of cars were starting to disappear. That's because they've started to identify regions where they can actually build a showroom and a delivery center as well as service. So it is rolling out across Canada, and that's certainly going to be a benefit to all that have interest.
Yeah. One of the things I saw with the showroom here is the picture they had on the wall. They had a little Easter egg of the Tesla tequila. Yeah, in there. If you zoom in really into the living room, they actually have the Tesla tequila bottle on the counter.
Exactly. Yeah. And in fact, I can share that with you, because I took a video of it.
Oh, you're breaking my heart. Oh, geez.
So Tesla's been trolling us for some time to have this photo. This is in the Kitchener location, hanging on their wall. And sure enough, there it is.
Yeah. Of course, many of us, by the time we found out that it was out, it was sold out so fast. I mean, I contacted my friends that I know, because it was only available in the States, basically, and I contacted them, and yeah, it was sold out so quick. And, I like my tequila, and that was something that was like, I would really enjoy that. Although now, of course, on eBay, they're selling just the bottle, not even the tequila, for like 700 to $900 Canadian, which is like, forget it. So I hope they do another run because, it might be a whole nother, a whole nother business for them. Who knows? But
you can buy the tequila by itself just straight from the company that makes it.
Yeah, and it's not the same price.
No, it's quite a bit cheaper.
Yeah, somebody mentioned that if they should do a ludicrous mode tequila where they have the worm in the bottle, so you can be, ludicrous to eat the worm. But
very good.
Yeah.
Well, Eric is going to give another story that he's got.
Yeah. So the last one I want to talk about is the infamous site Plugshare, basically, which everybody knows is one of the ultimate places if you want to look at charging sites and their status and the review and figure out capabilities and costs and things like that. A very good site, and they have a pretty good phone app as well too. You can use for navigating your car and things like that as well too. Well, now they've worked and they have a beta launch today, or not today, but a few days ago actually. They just started a beta launch of being able to have the app interface with Android Auto. So now it'll tie right in directly to your car, and you can use the Plugshare app right onto your head unit. The early reports are that it's a little bit buggy still right now and missing a few key features, but hopefully they'll improve that once they get out of beta and continue to improve that to make a good feature that people can use to navigate their EVs. Make it even a bit more of a industry-wide seamless transition. And my understanding is at some point in the future, they're supposed to have a version for Apple CarPlay as well too.
Very good. So they're basically being able to use the your current car's head unit to be able to pull up data from Plugshare through the normal head unit you have in your car. Or is this actually an app that runs on the head unit?
This is you would be able to pull Plugshare up on your head unit.
Okay.
But basically, yeah, you'd load Android Auto. When you normally load Android Auto, you have your options of like you can pick Google Maps or Waze, or there's a few other Android Auto compatible apps, even podcasts and things like that. This would just be another option under the navigation option. You can select Plugshare, and under there, then you can select a charging station, tell it to navigate to that, and it would become almost like an integrated navigation system into your car.
All right. So that makes sense. That once Android Auto makes that an approved app that works inside of the Auto segment of their suite, then of course anyone that has a car that has Android Auto is just able to pull on the app because now it's a supported app inside the Android Auto suite. Okay, makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool to see that they're getting that type of integration, and I'm sure that more car companies, especially if they're considering with the electric aspect of things, that's another part of the progress, I think, with electric transition and making, having people understand that they have this ability to look for chargers much more robust, I guess you could say, than just worrying about on their phone. If it's like shown now on the car, it's going to be one more, ease for the person to potentially get into an electric vehicle.
Exactly, and of course, like get directions is a thing where it's if it's worked right in, so now the directions are coming through the stereo, and you can just follow the directions like you would another navigation app that's supported. That would be a big plus.
Yeah.
Do you see, Eric, a potential where they might preheat and precondition the battery before, like if you say this is the charger I want to go to? Now, of course, it would be more DC fast charge, but that they would precondition it?
Yes. There's actually already a few companies that are going to be working on that as well too. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously Tesla does that already today, but there's a few other companies like General Motors in the recent Hummer EV announcement said that the vehicle will have that capability to do that. So, and I imagine there's going to be others following suit and learning from that as well too. So,
yeah, cool, very cool.
Yeah,
okay.
And hopefully they can start tying that into even things like plug to charge and stuff like that as well too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
All right. If you're watching this and haven't already, please give us a thumbs up. That helps us out. And if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe, and you'll be notified anytime a new video is uploaded to the WREVA channel. So just a short commercial break there. Next, Ian's got some stuff to present in a slideshow.
All right. So, is that looking good?
Yep.
All right. So the first thing we got is, speaking of REVA, there's three of us who got featured in Alternative Journals magazine for this last month's edition. And there's actually quite a bit on, of course, transportation and the transition, of course, to electric vehicles and that. But myself, Percy, and Larry, we were interviewed by this lady, Alexandra, and she was discussing the pulp culture stigmas and myths around EVs. So, for example, she brought up about Seinfeld's commentary, about the Prius, and just, some of the, different sort of negative myths on some of this stuff. So we went in there and kind of set them straight on things. So it's an interesting magazine. It talks lots of the not only transition with electric vehicles, but gets into the alternative energy and also into urban development as well. So it's quite an interesting magazine, that's for sure.
And it's an electronic magazine or paper?
As far as I know, it's both. Because the issue that was sent to me was electronic, so I'm taking a guess that yes. But I'm thinking it's also paper as well. So, yeah.
We will have a note in the show notes if anyone wants to look into it further for any of the stories that are presented tonight. You're able to go into a little more detail with those links.
Mm-hmm. This one was, I felt was really awesome to see because basically, City of Kitchener, they basically have unanimously voted in the end of October to phase out anything to do with gas-fired power plants for electricity. And Debbie Chapman, who did the motion, actually is my counselor in Kitchener Centre. And Mike Morris actually spoke as well. He was the Green Party candidate for Kitchener Centre. And I think this is great to see. And I've actually been in contact with Debbie and, expressed, thanks for doing this, and also presented to her a few other ideas, Mark, as you and I have discussed about, that community that basically went in with Tesla Powerwalls, and now they're saving a bunch of money, and it's working out quite well for them. And this is, of course, the battery backup aspect of things is happening all over the world. But it's nice to see in my own backyard that this is happening as well.
You're on to the next slide.
Okay. And
Ian, have you clicked on the next slide? It's still showing the AJ AJ slide.
Yeah, I did. Oh, okay. Let me get out of that.
There we go.
Maybe let's do it this way. Yeah, it might be easier that way. I did full screen, so there you go. Learn something new. Skype doesn't like that. So anyways, it's nice to see in the backyard of Kitchener here that the way they're moving forward on that. Kitchener is actually doing a lot with renewable energy, and it's great to see. They've even with the solar that they've put up, they already realized they're way ahead of the game financially, even with the payback time with the solar. So they're doing well.
And it would certainly be nice to see them get into a thing like Green Mountain Hydro or Green Mountain Power does out in Vermont, where that power utility would supplement battery storage on a house that has solar to allow them to use that as a resource for the utility when brownouts happen or when energy demand jumps. They're able to access all those power walls out in the community. At this point in Vermont, they have over 2,000 units already set up on people's homes. So it's basically a virtual power plant where people can access, or the utility can access all of those battery storage systems and deliver power to the grid instantaneously, even faster than what a gas-fired plant could start up in. They have this almost instant turnaround, and being able to supplement that with the ratepayers in paying less electricity rates because the gas power plant is no longer needed or needs to be built or upgraded. They put those rates back into the community, and people with the power walls get a couple of benefits from having one attached to their home.
Yeah, exactly. So. Yeah. I've sent that article to Debbie about Vermont, and she's passed it on to the sustainability committee as well. Yeah, stuff they're looking into.
Yeah, one of the big advantages Kitchener has too is that it's a municipal-owned local utility, and so it has the flexibility to make these changes relatively quickly.
Right, exactly. All right. So this was in the CBC. I think it was yesterday or today. Basically, they have an electric vehicle charging rebate that they're doing over the next couple of years at $300,000. I didn't mention, though, I had to put this comment down from one of the councillors saying that it helps people who are willing to take the risk of buying an EV at this time. And I had to tweet out to him and say, many of us have taken this risk for 5+ years. And we're very happy with what we've done in that respect. So it's interesting just to kind of still see that sort of hesitation on things. Not so much about the EVs themselves, but I think they're being cautious with things. But Edmonton's doing a lot for the whole electric aspect of things. Existing homes can apply up to $600 or half of the cost of a charging station. So and of course that would include the professional electrician to install the charging station as well. So it's great to see. They even had an incentive for electric bikes.
Wow, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, so that was also really cool to see. All right, this is really cool because roughly it was about a year ago, I think, that we saw Rivian announce and talk about their trucks and the SUV. And as of November 16th, for anyone who's a pre-order holder, they can go and configure their vehicle. It's going to start at $75,000 US.
Yeah, that's the first edition model. Yeah.
Yep, the first edition. Yep. Of which Launch Green is a special color option. I thought that was cool. Deliveries for Canada might be more closer to November 2021. US is going to be in the summer, I think June, July. They got 300 miles of range with an option for 400 miles. The other thing is they also included these two equipment packages, which we hadn't really heard too much about at the time, but the Adventure or the Explorer. So that's something worth to check out. And also they have a hands-free driver assistance that they're going to put in every vehicle as well. One thing that, is just to quickly bring up is if you guys haven't seen Long Way Up, it's an Apple TV. You have to subscribe to that, but it's an Apple TV series. Ewan McGregor of Star Wars fame, him and his buddy take Harley Davidson live wires from the end of South America, 16,000 miles to California, but they are followed by two Rivians, of which no Rivian had been produced until that time. And,
these were prototypes they were using.
Yeah, they were prototypes. Yep.
Yeah, I'm about halfway through the series. The scenery alone is just spectacular that they have in there. I find it's a little over the top with the drama, but it's Hollywood.
It's a television show.
Yeah, and it's funny because I get it because, hey, it's South America. Rivian was actually going to set up all the charging stations throughout. I don't know that they really got all that through. But
they installed 150 of them along the route.
Yeah.
And they were using juice boxes, I understand.
Yeah.
Oh, so that was Rivian. Okay, so I saw the juice boxes, but I didn't realize. Okay, yeah. So, but it's a great series, and it's it's really cool to see. Like I said, the scenery alone is just makes me want to drive and go check some of that out. So, if they got the juice boxes there, then hey, we've got some charging.
Yeah, yeah. One of the challenges they had in the series is, I think, is that the chargers that Rivian were setting up were Type 2, sort of European style plugs, and the Harley Davidson live wires were Type 1 charging cables, North American style. So the Harley Davidsons couldn't use those chargers, so oftentimes they were plugging in the Rivians to charge, and then the Rivians could charge the Harley Davidsons.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, yeah.
Until they can get into like Mexico, and then they can start using the North American grid. So
yeah, yeah. One last quick thing about that documentary series is the whole idea of being towed by a vehicle to charge. I think it was like the third or fourth episode. There was a Rivian that basically they had a truck hitch them up and drag them for like a good hour so they could get a charge on the regenerative. So that was cool to see. Yeah. So, all right. This one is great to see. Ford unveiling an e-transit van. So, we're talking about vans that can do deliveries. And of course, one of the biggest things that's happening, of course, with this pandemic is how much is happening in terms of, online sales and deliveries in that respect. So Ford unveiling this, I think, is going to be quite successful. Especially the price, under $45,000 for a van like this is excellent.
yeah.
So 126 miles range, so roughly 200 kilometers, and 67 kilowatts for the battery, and it can do a DC fast charge at 115 kilowatts. So it's I think for delivery companies and their fleets, I think this is going to be a success. The 200-kilometer range, some people I've seen on some of the forums saying, it's not enough, but for what it is, I think it's excellent. I don't think there's going to be an issue for a lot of them. I think that's probably right around the point that they will need.
Yeah, Ford was mentioning they did quite a bit of research to see what is the average mileage per day that these types of vehicles are used in, and they found this falls under the majority of the usage cases. Also, this is largely using the EPA test cycle, which has a very heavy highway component to it. If you look at the WLTP rating for this in Europe, it's rated at nearly 300 kilometers of range in Europe. So I think in town, this thing will easily exceed the 200 kilometers of range that most people will be using it with. So I think it's a very good option for some people. I mean, and again, they could put in more range, but that would also have more cost. So yeah. I think this is a good compromise.
Yeah. One thing that might affect the range is whether this, vehicle is delivering a lot of Amazon packages with clothes in it as compared to, say, an auto shop delivering auto parts, with the weight of everything too. So, but I think Ford's got a success on their hands with this. And it's, for cities as well, to see this type of vehicle in the cities, compared to the gas diesel, cities, of course, as you know, with electric vehicles are very efficient because as opposed to any gas diesel vehicle with the start and stop, the idling, all those type of things, companies are paying for that and not a lot of efficiency out of it. So, electric vehicle, of course, in the city is, and especially with this, is going to be really beneficial for them. There's going to be a lot of cost savings, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And what's nice to see is that some of those companies that are fleets, if it matches what they're doing, then being able to save on gas and maintenance will be a huge cost difference for them if they were to choose to go this route, or at least try a couple to compare it to their gasoline counterpart vehicles. So if you're in the sweet spot where you can use a vehicle that's 150 to 200 kilometers of range during a normal delivery period, and it can come back after the day and plug in and be ready for the next day, then you've got a big winner for reduction of costs for a fleet.
Yeah, the total cost of ownership should be very low for a type of vehicle like this.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So here's some energy news, and especially interesting with this year, of course, as we know, with once the lockdown kind of kicked in with us with the pandemic, we saw our energy usage go down quite a bit and pollution go down quite a bit with vehicles and everything else. But wind and solar capacity are being predicted to double over the next 5 years globally and surge past gas and coal. Green energy usage for generating electricity will grow by almost 7% in 2020, which is the fastest growth that we have seen in 6 years. And this, of course, is despite the pandemic. And in contrast, the pandemic has accelerated the closure of older fossil fuel infrastructure. If you look online, there's a lot of articles of the fossil fuel, coal and that. They're struggling, very much so. And the International Energy Agency has described solar as being the cheapest source of power in history as of right now. And of course, I think it's only going to just keep going down cost-wise that way. Now, I will mention with something like that when, for the viewers who look at this and go, wait a minute, I saw Canadian Tire had their solar panels on sale, 50% off, and they still seem expensive. And it's like, that's the last place in the world that you want to go to get solar panels. They're not really the most efficient. I think it's a lot of an older technology. And B, I think they really prey on the people who do not know any better. I've actually talked to, funny enough, when I'm in Canadian Tire and happen to see somebody looking at the solar, I always sort of stop and talk to them a little bit and ask them what they're trying to set up on that. So anyways, and the last thing, of course, is Northwestern New Mexico coal plant is closed and being replaced by solar and battery storage. That just came out today, actually. So just kind of like we were mentioning, with the gas-fired power plants, and how much quicker the battery kicks in, like Mark was mentioning with Vermont, to help with any sort of blackouts, brownouts, all that type of stuff, how much quicker that kicks in. And I think that's the other thing, that coal plants they're not going to win in that, because they can't just flip the switch and go, instantly to that transition of supplying power to the grid that's quick enough. So this is really great to see with everything in this respect. One other thing yes.
Sorry to interrupt, but since we're talking about solar and we do have a couple of extra minutes, maybe update the group as to how your solar installation finished up at the cottage.
Yeah. So basically, I was planning to close the cottage for the winter. This is the weekend after Thanksgiving, I think it was. And I had planned to be up there till the Sunday. And anyways, went up on the Wednesday, got everything hooked up so that on the Saturday, I could take the batteries that were being used by the waterfall hydro and move those to the shed that I built. So I got that all wired in. And of course, it was not much different than when I poured vegetable oil in my diesel van and shaking, going like, what the hell am I doing? Is this going to work? But I flipped the power switch, the fuse, and everything turned on. Midnight Solar was my charge controller, and it walked right through the steps of everything, so I could set it up properly. And it worked great. I tested a vacuum cleaner for 20 minutes, and it ran no problems for 20 minutes. Vacuum cleaners are, a few watts. And I could see also, even it was a little bit of sun, but mostly cloud, but even on a cloudy day, it still put out quite a bit of energy with the 4 panels that I put up. And unfortunately, I could see with watching the weather on the Saturday, late afternoon, that evening, that rain was going to be coming in, and then by Sunday, it was just going to be downpours. And at this point, the cottage is boat access only. So I basically packed everything up that I needed to winterize the place, and got the boat to the main shore and put it away for the winter. So there's a part of me that still might go up north. It's too bad. I wish in the last week with all this beautiful weather, I wanted to go up and see that everything was going. But as far as I know, it's working great. And next late spring when I go up. That'll be the tests, and I'm actually going to be ordering a fridge for the cabin that is not propane. Will be a proper electric fridge. So once that's installed, it'll be beer and ice cream to arrive to every time I go up.
Nice.
And I'm sure all those squirrels and raccoons are really going to be happy now that they're going to have constant internet and electricity to run the vacuums all winter long.
Oh, exactly. Well, the Starlink hasn't been set up there yet, so they don't have internet yet. That is something I will be looking to do, though.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. So, anyways, I guess on to our last slide. As I mentioned to you, Mark, I thought, well, this is the end of an era, though we do still have to a little bit more time with the big baby in office. But I didn't do a slide with him. But if any of you have ever watched a show called The Good Place, it's kind of like an afterlife series with Kirsten Bell. And anyways, I got told, that, there's an episode, season 4, episode 10, where the judge is basically going to get rid of the earth and start from scratch. So if you look in the background, you've got the big truck with coal running out of it, a bunch of fires in the dumpsters, the blue toilet. I got a kick out of the blue toilet. In the left side, you'll see Pirates of the Caribbean 12, Jack Sparrow versus Aquaman is on there. And then, of course, the best one, which I got told about, is the Cybertruck coming soon as part of the, the end of the world. So,
it's some pretty creative marketing.
It is. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So I'm taking a guess that's a 5G tower in the background.
It could be.
Yep. It's got to be at least 7G by then.
Yeah, exactly. So. Anyways, it's not a show I normally watch. I got told, about this, but it is funny. Ted Danson's in it as well, and they. I think they have a lot of fun making fun of society as we are now. That's for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Ian. Thank you, Eric, for the stories this evening. This was our November issue, and we will get together in another month or so and try to put another one together. Not sure if we'll do one for December as it gets down to the crazy silly season, but certainly we'll definitely get one in place for January if we don't. So thank you very much for everyone for watching this evening. And again, give us a thumbs up, give us a follow, and thank you very much for hanging out with us tonight.
Sounds good.
All right, guys. We'll talk to you later.
Have a good week.
Bye-bye.